everyone, this is Sally with the Polka Dot Life. I am so glad that you have stopped by my stamp studio today. You all know I love a good fun fold card. And so when I was getting out all of my supplies, or a lot of my supplies, from the recently released 2024-2025 Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog, I wanted to have something where I could just play with a bunch of new things all at one time. And so I came across this fun fold card, and I love it. It is very beginner friendly, so do not be intimidated by it at all. You will feel very accomplished once you've tried this new fold. So let's get started on today's project. I just wanted to take a really quick minute and remind you about the starter kit special that's going on through the end of May 2024, so just a few days remaining in that. But we always have a great deal going on our starter kit. You pay $99, but you pick $125 worth in product, and that's whatever product you want. We don't have a pre-made starter kit. You get some business supplies and a past paper pumpkin kit in it, as well as those things that you choose. But for this month, you get these additional products, and they are an $82 value. So that is just an incredible sale, if you would call it a sale, or just a great incentive to go ahead and join and become a discount shopper with me. There's no pressure going on. It's a no judgment zone. I am not going to be hounding you. You don't have to do videos. Most of the Stampin' Up! Demonstrators are just that. They are a hobbyist, is what some people call them, but we just consider them a great discount shopper. So what you would get is you would get these 5 ink pads in the new in colors that were just released. You would get an assorted cardstock pack featuring those same colors. You would get a pack of this designer series paper that we are going to actually use today. It is the in color pack. We do a pack every time, every catalog, and we do the in colors and we do the color families. So you would get that package with the in colors in it. And then the Stampin' Right, the water-based markers in these new in colors. So that is something super, super great. And you can just go to thepolkadotlife.com and click the Join tab and read a little bit more about it. And if you have any further questions, you can just email me at sally@thepolkadotlife.com. Now, here are just some of those patterns. There are 4 different patterns in the Designer Series paper. And there's like a fern floral pattern. I'm not sure what you would call this, just a pattern, a kind of like a fabric pattern, I guess I'd almost call it. Then we have a circle pattern and a stripe pattern. And we are going to be using, this floral and fern image today. And I should have cut this ahead of time, but I am just going to tell you, it is super easy. With just your standard size layer on the front, 4 by 5 1/4. And that is all there is to cutting that. I have already gone ahead and cut our other pieces except for our basic white. When I like to do these, I was doing more than one at a time, and I would actually suggest you do more than one at a time. It makes it a little bit easier. So if you want to just go ahead and bring this on over to the 6-inch mark, we are going to be needing a 6-inch by 5-inch piece. And so you could just do more than one at a time. And I am not going to go ahead, you could score it once and cut it twice, but I'm just, for sake of confusion, not going to confuse you. So here is 5. And here is 5. And that just gives you your 2 inserts that you'll need. Now I am going to go ahead and score them both just for filming purposes. If I happen to mess one up, then I'll have a backup while we have everything out. You're going to score it at 2 and 4, and that is with that 6-inch side along the top. So you will have 3 equal panels. So see, we have the 6-inch across the top, and again, it's just 2 and 4. Super fast. We can take the trimmer out of our way. Now the stamp set that we are using today is called Happiest Day, and that is on page 99 of the annual catalog. And I kind of feel like this one, I don't know why I feel like it gets lost, but I feel like it kind of does. It doesn't really have many examples, but it is shown here in a photo layout, a home decor piece, and a scrapbook page. And I want you to always remember, scrapbookers are so welcome here. I got my start in scrapbooking, and so I will always have a heart for that. But here it is. It's called Happiest Day. It is a photopolymer set. It has dragonflies and different little things here, but it has a rainbow. And I love the sentiments. I love the font. I loved this one that we are going to use today. You make me feel like glitter in the sun. And that just made me smile. I have a little scrap piece of cardstock here. And I am going to open the memento. I have our little dragonfly. And I am going to stamp him once because we are going to fussy cut one of them out. But it's okay. It's super easy. And you know what? Before I take that away, I have my You're the Best. And just for ease here, I know I cut one out, but I'm just going to stamp it here, and I will cut that out with my stylus shape circle. Not the smallest, the next one that is larger. Then let's swap this out and bring our little body back in. And I want him in the corner, but not like too deep in the corner, because we're going to stamp a little something under him. But this is just such a fun card to stamp. Now let's grab our sentiment. You make me feel like glitter in the sun. And you know, I'm going to pull this down just to where I can see it because it's photopolymer. But just the way it's written, I want it to be straight on my card. And so I kind of have to angle the stamp just the way the font is. Super fun. I love that font. It just makes me so happy. Now I can put the black away. And let's do our petunia pop. You might want to take some scrap paper and just go ahead and do a little practice stamping. Both of our dragonflies are going to get this petunia pop at the top. This flat edge goes towards the bottom, but I am going to pull it back here, and I do apologize, but you just have to go slow. And if it doesn't line up properly, it's okay. See there, it's off a little tiny bit, but it's okay. I will show you a fun, quick way to fix that. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll try to leave it up a little bit further. Just go really slow, look through that, and try to line up both the flat and curved edge. And it's kind of that style where it could be off a little bit and it would be just fine. Now we will put the petunia pop away and take out the summer splash. And we have our little set of wings. Now it is not for this one. This is for the one that goes on the insert on your card. Just making sure I didn't rock that stamp and get, or that block, and get any ink on that. I am going to pull this down now. On this one, the flat edge is in the middle and the curved pieces are at the bottom. You kind of let them kind of meld together in the center here and kind of blend their color a little bit. That's just the way it was designed. Give this a quick clean. a good clean. Just kind of want to make sure, because we're going to be going into a yellow, and yellow takes on all kinds of those other colors if we go there first. We're going to be using our colors a little bit more here in a second, but I just kind of wanted to do the dragonfly portion first. And this particular set is going to get this crushed curry at the bottom. Fun. And like I say, we're cutting this out, so this one really doesn't even matter, and we are going to fix that. And I had started an envelope off camera, so let's just finish that one off too. People often ask, what do I use my Stampin' Write markers for? This is where I like them. So we'll just bring it in. You can use whichever tip you want, but just use a very, very light hand and go in and fix that. And I'll probably use the petunia up there just because that seems to be the dominant color. And we will bring this one in. And you're not going to even notice that that pattern isn't on this portion at all. See how easy that is? And we'll go ahead here and fix our petunia real quick. But this does get much easier, and if you aren't trying to do it on camera, it's definitely a whole lot easier. I don't want you to think that you can't get great results. Let's grab this one. And here we go. And you wouldn't even have to fix it. You could just leave it just like it is. And like I say, it's just kind of a funky design, so if it goes over a little bit, it really doesn't matter. So this is our envelope, and we have this little speckly, sparkly, I'm not sure, little flower burst, little energy burst. And I am just going to stamp this. I'm kind of thinking if that's just a little trail of sparkle that dragonfly is leaving behind. We'll bring our insert back in, and we're going to do the same thing right here. You can position this however you would like. And then I just wanted a little bit of this to go around the bottom. And then I want to take some, and we want to keep this lower over here. It can go a little bit higher. It'll be fine. But I just wanted to take that yellow across. And let's even do it a little bit right there. Fun. I love that. We also have a sun image. And so let's do the outer part first. And I am just going to put this in the center of this middle section. Super fun. And then we have the center. You can use this full strength. You can stamp it off. It does have a little bit darker place on one side for some reason. I guess just for some shading, some contrast. But isn't that fun? I love it. It's so cute. Now I realized I did it a little bit different from my original, my prototype one. And that's the one that you will see in the photography on the blog. So we're just going ahead though with this and doing it a little bit different. And you'll see it's just, I stamped this too low. I was kind of worried about keeping it high or having it be high and running into the mechanism, which it really wouldn't. But I just want to show you Then we have the rainbow. And I don't think it's going to matter. I'm just going to stamp it kind of right in here. I'm going to nestle it right in where I would have had it. And I don't think it's going to matter at all that it had those other little sparkles going through there. I found it easier to do the largest and then kind of guess where you want that center one to go in the crushed curry, and then do the center one in the petunia pop, and then just kind of nestle that in between. So let's put our inks away because we are done with our stamping. I like it because there is a lot of stamping on this card. I think it's fun. I'll bring this little piece in and I'm going to cut off. I'll die cut this. And then we are just going to take this and do a quick little fussy cut. We are going to start and just move our paper, not our scissors. You have to, align them. You don't want to work on the end of this blade a lot, so you want to move it up. And because we're going to adhere it to white, it's not going to need to be perfect. That's one really great reason why we do that, is to let that little border around it, because your eye will just finish it on that white. Now this one, I'm just going to go in a little bit closer around our boo-boo, and then I'm going to come right back out to that white border and finish this off. And just go back in, and anything you don't like you can fine tune a little bit. Like I maybe just don't want quite that much of a border here. I love that. I might, now that I have that bulk of that paper out of here, go in and just make that a little bit more of a detailed cut. There, I like that a whole lot better. But isn't that just a happy look right there? Now we are going to just move these things to the side temporarily. And we have a petunia pop card base. Just your standard 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to give my edge a little rub. I am going to go ahead. This has been, like I say, this has been scored at 4 1/4, just like we usually do. And I'm going to give that a good crease. I am then going to take this piece of Designer Series paper that we cut earlier, and I'm going to use my seal just so I don't have to wait for glue to dry, and I don't have it squishing out when I die cut it. But you absolutely can use your liquid adhesive. You just might want to let it dry a little bit just so it doesn't make a mess in your die cutting machine. Just give it a few minutes to dry. Doesn't need to be hours, just enough that it's not going to be oozing out. So we are just going to place this on. And I did go ahead and I put some adhesive down through the middle so that once we die cut this shape out of our card front, that it will all be adhered. And then you can use that piece that you cut out as well. I am using from the Nested Essentials. I'm using this large, the largest one of the banners. And I have some Post-it tape. And I am just going to line this up If a ruler is what you need to make you happy, you go ahead. I am just strictly going to eyeball this. And you don't want it like right over here. You would have a weak place to open your card. So I would center it as best as you can, or even further it this way just a little bit. But you really kind of do want it to be in the center. And I am going to put some of my removable Post-it tape on here. And I've brought in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I don't know if I can zoom out. Let's try that a little bit. And I need some new plates on my machine. But we have to open our card. We don't want it to cut through the back. I found that it cuts through the layer here all right. I tried to do this and use a mat of cardstock and then another layer of cardstock, and it doesn't cut through 3. It just doesn't do well. I think with 2 layers you are great though. In fact, I know you are because I used it for I think all of mine, just about all of mine. And so we are just going to put this in. And I apologize if this shakes. I try not to use this on the camera a lot. So now that we have that off of our work area, we can just come in and remove our die. And then, like I say, you will have this piece, and just when you adhere this down, you just have to be a little careful if you have washi tape especially. But even with this Post-it tape, just do it slowly and gently. And then see, this will make a great piece on another card. So if you can just imagine, on a plain card front, then isn't this fun? I love that. And so do not throw that away. So what we do, so we have our cardstock with our shape cut out, and then I take the exact same die and I cut one out of the Summer Splash. So that's going to be our contrast, and it's going to be a working piece in our card. But we need to do a few more things before we get to that part. Let's take our card here, and I am just going to put our foam mat underneath it just to protect my film surface. I wanted to give a little color over here. So we don't have a crushed curry blend, and so I am using my dark Daffodil Delight since it's kind of a color buddy with that, and I figured the dark, since crushed curry is darker, and I just did that. And I thought that it really made it pop. That was like one of my favorite little additions to the card. I hope that you'd like that tip. And then we just take this, and we're going to fold this over. And then this back. And so we have this card that opens like this. I will say, using the blends on your cards are fine. I liked using them on this one, this panel, and this panel, because you're not going to see those, because a alcohol marker, this was very light, so it barely came through here. But this is glued down, so you're not going to see it. And this one is behind. This one, I felt the possibility for some reason was there to see it. You can play with it and make your own judgment call about that if you're using a different set that you would like to use your blends with. So I have my liquid adhesive, and I am just going to open my card up this way, and I am going to put my green glue, and I am going to wipe that off because that went a little bonkers. Now I'm going to make sure that I have this, the top at the top is this way. And I am just going to keep this closed, and I am just going to look around here. Let's slide this up even, and make sure that these three, the gap is about the same. Now I'm going to just lift it up for my old lady eyes to see and make sure I've got that straight. So here we have this attached over here. And you can take your bone folder and give that a nice little rub if you'd like to. And then we are done, at least for now, with our liquid glue. We'll use it here again in a minute. And you know, I'm going to bring my trimmer back in for a quick minute. And this was just my scrap that I cut off from something else. I think it was when we made our insert. So this is 1 inch wide, which is great. So let's just kind of do double duty here. We're going to cut this at 2 inches. And then we are going to, while it's all together, let's move it over and we're going to score it at 1 inch. And we are going to then cut it at a 1/2 inch. So we'll have 2 pieces that are 1/2 inch by 2 inches. And they are scored at 1 inch in the center. That is all of the mechanism that we need. I just wanted to cut those with you so you could see it. And we need our tearing tape. And let's just do this together. And just right down the center. I just do mine on the top. I don't think it really matters. I just do it that way because I like the way it folds better. But if you put it on the wrong side, don't discard it, just use it. Tear and tape is a great adhesive. It's super strong, and we use it a lot for our cards that have movement, just because it can handle it. Liquid glue can as well, but there are some times, and this would be one of them, where you wouldn't want the mess of liquid glue. We have a little hanging Chad of Petunia Pop. At least it matches. Okay. And we are going to just fold these. You could do it and burnish them before you put this on, would probably be the better idea. But you really don't have to burnish them, at least at this point. And you know, I want to do this other part first. We're just going to let these sit here and hang out for a second. So let's close this and let's close this. Just forget we did that part. I got a little out of order. Okay, we have this piece. Just let's forget we did this, but we want to just close this, and we want to put our tear and tape. You want to put a piece over on this side that's close to the edge, and then you want to put some, and I'm going to snip. You remember, you just because it's tear and tape, you don't always have to just tear it, because sometimes you want a nice crisp piece. I am actually going to do that here. Just because of the unique shape of this label die, I just kind of want, I feel it's stronger if I can get it over here a little bit further, because we do want our cards to stay together if we're going to take our time to do them. I'm not going to rub that down just yet. And then just, you probably wouldn't need to, but I just like to, And this doesn't have to be straight, it's just adhesive. It's just holding it together. No one's going to see it. So I will pull this backing off of all these pieces that we just put down, and then that can stick right over top there. Bring that back up and frame a little better for you. And then you want to make sure that your stitching is facing up. I'm going to turn this just so I can see it better. But we are just going to lay this in here. Don't press on it till you get it down. Now you can press on it. And so it will open up like this. See? It's not hooked to there yet, just this piece. So the easy way to do this is, I'm going to scooch this up here since we already have our sticky on here. You have to have this on so you can see where to put this. And I am just going to take it a hair back off of that edge and in straight. Sometimes if this is a small space here, look at it before you put your tear and tape on here. You may want to cut yours a little skinnier than a 1/2 inch, and that's okay too. But I want it off of this just enough it doesn't hang, but close enough that it supports it. And so we are going to open this. See how that just opens right there? It's hooked on the back, it opens out, and we just take our card and push it into that. And that's what makes our card work. Isn't that fun? So just close it, give it all a really good press, and then you can even open it this way and give it a press there too. So see how fun? Isn't that just an easy fold? And see, hopefully you can see in the camera. See, we just have these two pieces here. And like I say, when you see, you can see down in there, like if you use blends, I don't think it's probably a big deal either way. But I just wanted to make you aware of that. So let's close this and finish our decorating. And you can continue using tear and tape. You can use tear and tape on the whole thing if you wanted to. I just like my wiggle room with my green glue. I am going to bring this right in and just center it up. Right here on the front. And grab some dimensionals. Not sure whether you're going to want the minis or the full size ones. I can't remember which I use. I'll have to look. Let's flip this over. I think I actually used full size. I think I just put one on each side. And then we'll not put one here on the tail. I'm going to just put one in the center of our sentiment. And let's not take our backing off the dragonfly just yet. We're going to kind of just figure out how we want that and how we would want this. So we know we don't want this hanging any further down. You know, you can't have it go over your summer splash piece because then it would impede the movement of your card. So let's do that first and put that here. And then let's just peel our backings off here really quick like. And just kind of figure out how we want the angle of this to go. And this could go underneath too. They're all going to go a little bit differently. Let's just see. You know what? I just want to take this, and it's okay. We're going to just trim this a little bit more. Of course, we're going to get stuck on a dimensional, but that's okay. But I just want to cut that a little bit closer. And we'll just clean that up. That way it gives us a little bit more room here. And you just, like I say, you just kind of have to play with it. Just don't push things down. Let's just move this over a little bit. We can even bring this down real close. See, it's not over, so we can do that. So after it's on here, like it's not glued down, so if I want to go in and trim this, if I open that and see that's going to catch, I can just kind of slide my snips in here and give it just a little trim. Of course, I can't do that on camera very well. There. And if I think that these aren't going to adhere down enough, I can put a little bit of glue or a glue dot. I could put a little liquid glue here and run it underneath here so this adheres to this. I can always just grab, let's just do this. Let's just do this. I should have pulled that off before I pulled it loose. And let's just put a mini. We have room. But I think just putting one on there at first to really secure it, you know, not really secure it, but tack it down while we work on our placement. Let's just do this other one. Oh, and the kitten's hair is stuck in it again. Oh, he's just everywhere up here. Do any of you have any crafting buddies? So I think that is super, super fun. Well, the office gremlins have struck again, and I cannot find my in color resin dots. So this is my card that I made originally, and I may have used Daffodil Delight, or I may have stamped this off, so you'll notice a little difference in the color, but I decided I kind of like the crushed curry, but I love these little resin dots and I can't find them. So another option would be we have these in color shimmer dots, so those would be pretty. And then these have been out of stock, but they're coming in. You could even use these little dragonfly trinkets on it. Those might be fun too. So I will, after I find mine, I will just put mine on. So let's just look at this one. Since it is put together the way it's intended to be. And see, I did my tail over here, and I was thinking I did it in the center. So see, there are a lot of different ways that you can do that. So I could have just slid this over, and I might do a little card surgery and fix this one up, but it's fine the way it is too. I think it's just we get stuck in our head that once we do it the way we like it, then we need it to do it the same way, exact way after that, and that's not always the case. So in here is the difference. You'll see I had left this little space blank, so you might want to just go ahead after you do your dragonfly, do your rainbow, and then you can fill in with your dots after that. And our envelope just makes things happy too. So you have your little finished stationery there. So I promised you a bunch of other samples, and I had so much fun. I started with this one. This was for the team challenge, and I do like it. I will say this is a little bit weaker of a card front. I didn't put designer series paper or anything on this, an extra layer, and this opening is bigger. So, but it still works fine. I loved that. We used shaded spruce, calypso coral, and crushed curry. And I just used my little micron pen and made my little butterflies. And this set is called Planted Paradise. Yes, Planted Paradise stamp set. So that is a fun one. And then I used the Unbounded Beauty and made this one. And these were all die cut pieces. Here I stamped and die cut, and some of them are just standalone die cuts. But I thought that was a fun way to get to use a lot of those different images because they have so many pretty ones. And so we have Hello Friend with our little frog. These are from Lily Pond Lane, and I used a piece of that designer series paper. These are, this circle die is the Spotlight on Nature die. And then I just colored with my blends and cut them out and put them on here just because I was just playing with different color combinations and whatnot. So I just chose to do them colored off of this piece. And now this I stamped on just to give it a little depth. So, and these ones were die cut. So a lot of fun. This one I used the set called Flying By. And I made this for my grandson. I'm going to send this to him in the mail, or I may just hand deliver it to him. I'm not sure, but he loves all things that fly. So this was just a fun thing. I just added this lemon lolly bow on the front, and I just used some real red, and I think that's balmy blue. And then it opens up and it has all the clouds, and I did split this. I only inked up half of my stamp at a time so I could fit it on this little panel. And I colored this one with the blends. I just thought this one was really fun. Hello, love you lots. And I intend to play with these sets a lot more. These were just my warm-ups and getting to know all of my new friends. This one is the Hearts and Hugs bundle. I loved it. This little hamster sending a big hug. So it's there when you need it. Isn't that super cute? And I just did some die cutting, and I colored these with the Stampin' blends and cut them out. And this is just a piece of that designer series paper again. I got some in the Neutrals family and used that. This card uses the To Market set. It is a suite, and it has stamps, lots of different vegetables and things, and it has some floral images on the paper and with the dies. And thanks a bunch. Hello, thanks a bunch. And I used some design of the designer series paper. Lots of fun, and then the gems are really pretty too. Lots of neat colors in this set. This one is kind of a combination. It uses the Wildly Flowering designer series paper that's from one of our suites, and then the Attention Shoppers bundle. Happy birthday. Treat yourself. I thought that was really fun. I love the font on this, and I I don't know, just the whole modern vibe of this set. I really like it a lot. This is the Round We Go bundle, and I made this little rosette using the dies from that set, and I used some of that designer series paper. This circle is the Spotlight on Nature dies also, I believe, is what I used on that. I love that. Just so fun. Got to play with a lot of those stamps and use some different color combinations. Thought that was really nice. And this is also from that Nested Essentials that we use on our card today. And our last one features the Country Woods suite of products. And I just did some coloring, stamping and coloring and cut out. And I'm making myself learn to love the wild wheat and use some different combinations. And so I am embracing it. I'm going with it. It's here for a while, so I am going to love it while it's here. It is hard to even get all of these in one frame, but I have 10 cards using this quick and easy layout. It uses minimal supplies. It takes minimal time. And so I just hope that this kind of gets you acquainted with some of the things in the new catalog. I am going to be using this Happiest Day bundle again for sure. I just think it's so fun. And I hope that you enjoyed today's video and that you take a set that you have. You can use this with any stamp set, any paper, any die that you have. You do need to have a die to make it work. Or a punch would work as well. You could, if you didn't have a die cutting machine, but you had a punch, like a large circle punch or something, that you could make that work as well. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.